So we want the dragon to stay here for a little bit of time. So let's put a key, everything, until, how long should we wait till the dragon moves? Like 15 frames. Then it will start coming alive, and then we will go to our next pose. It comes alive here. So our next pose should be somewhere a bit further down the line. Here, I guess. So I'm alive, breathing, and then walking to our next pose. Maybe a bit further. Yes. And then we can start placing our dragon towards where it should go. So walking here, somewhere here. Doesn't really matter what you start first. I like doing the feet and the body first. Those will decide of the placement of the dragon. The process of creating and setting up the other key poses is the same as the process we did in the first key pose. So we will speed up the video and even skip some of it for time purposes, but whenever I'm introducing something new or doing something I haven't shown yet, it will return to real time for those sections. So this button turns on X-ray. This lets you see through your polygons to look for a controller. So it's either I use this or I just use the shortcut that removes the polygons for a while. It depends on how you'd like to work, but I most of the time use the combination of both of the two. So now we have our next pose, which is this one. Obviously, between this pose that we just created and this one, there are steps to be taken for the dragon, and some more looking around in between. That all depends on your workflow. Some people just like to add this stuff already between main poses and then continue from there on, or just put all their big poses first and then do another layer of poses, another layer of poses, step by step, going to the final animation. So it's all about personal preferences. You will reach your goal that you choose to work. I will go for the next pose, which is this one. And I'm going to add one more small one, having the dragon look under his wing and then putting it up. There's some more anticipation already for a big movement, which will make more sense. Okay, then we'll be going to our next pose. So we were creating the down just before the dragon was going up with his wing. So after checking out this unfolded wing, we want the dragon to go flying. So I took this pose here from 106. I copied it to 150, but did not copy the wing animation. So only the body, and changed the head a little bit into a whip-like shape. So most of the shape is not that great yet, but we had to have something of anticipation so we can go into the next pose of the storyboard, which is this one. So we want to create this one, but to go from this one to this one, we need a big anticipation because it's going to be a big jump. I took this pose and copied this here, just not the wing, and like changed the head a little bit so I have a bit of an indication of what kind of movement I want. So I want it to be like charging for a whip and then going down, stretch, and then go up, like in one big fast movement. So the timing is still off. it can go all a bit quicker, but something that we can change when we're done doing the keys. Then this pose, so the start to fly pose. The most important thing about this pose is the shape. Remove this one. Okay, so here, if you look at it, we have a clear arc in the body, and we see a little bit of the back wing, but not so it's breaking the silhouette. So if you look at the silhouette, it's very clear what we're looking at. It's a dragon, we see two wings, see the face, we see all the paws. So yeah, that's something you should aim for in your animation. That's an expose. And now let's try to give it a cool twirl and then the highest point here. So we can go to this pose. This is our next pose that we should work towards too. So this is a pretty hard part to really get the flow going. But everything is going to happen really fast. So all we need now is an indication and where we want to end. I think we can animate the camera as well a little bit, because we will be out of range for it otherwise. So here we are going up, so we can pull the camera backwards like this. Now, something like this, yeah. I think at frame 200 we should be in our flying key. Okay. So now it's all about looking past the weird rotations and movements just to get the ID correct. And we can go back later to really check the curves. Yeah, let's put save. So now we have to skip. And to get like this weird curve completely correct, we can use our motion trailer. So let me show you how that works. Let's make sure we can showing everything. Okay. So this is gonna be the leading controller, right? So we're missing a lot of keys to get a good curve. So let's start visualizing the movement that our dragging is doing by going to animation, visualize, create editable motion trail. Now we see the movement that this controller is using to get where it is. So first we're going here in our start curve, so up, 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 and then here already we're missing one to the left to get a better curve. And the next one is already a bit too high. Okay, and so in this way we start building a nice twirl in the air. So now you see this part's already a lot smoother. This first part, still not amazing, but a lot smoother. And now we will have to do the same thing for the other parts of the animation. Yeah, that's already working a lot smoother, but obviously still not what we want completely, since the dragon here is completely on its side. On top view, we can really see where we are lacking some curvature, which is here. A good thing that you can also do is just clicking this and moving it. For example, you're here in time, but you want to adjust this one. See, the dragon moves along with the curve. Sometimes you have to move the time slider to update it, but this works as well. Select multiple and put them up, since we're not high enough compared to where we start. The curvature is suddenly a lot less here, so we can take this and put them up. And this looks to be making more sense. Okay, I think this is good enough to continue. So we put a lot of keys now. Okay, let's give ourselves some like wake up time from along like 2 seconds or something for the dragon to wake up. Maybe a bit more, and then it can start walking to this key. Let's just take everything in Gravitar except for the first key, obviously, and bring it to 50. Let's say 50. So put your marker here and just drag it until you reach 50. So this is one of the reasons you really need to create control sets so you can quickly like make big changes at once. And make sure all the controls are in there, obviously. Okay. So now we have some time for our dragon to wake up. 15 frames, it starts looking towards the camera like, hey, I'm awake. Oh, that's wrong controller. Hey, I'm awake. So that's what we see here. Let me make sure we can only see the geometry. Okay, so as you can see, that's also a pretty important setting. As you can see, when we do the time slider, when we move it, it's not updating in this window. That's because in Maya, it's not by default that all the windows are playing at the same time to have better performance. But in this case, or at least in our case, it's pretty important that we can see the camera and our perspective view at the same time. So you can go to settings and find the option there. I think, if I remember it correctly, it's in time slider here. And here you can see update view and just click on all. And now all the views that you have opened are playing at the same time instead of only the one you're working in. So here, hit save, and now we will see everything is moving at the same time. So that's perfect now. Okay, so 15 seconds of nothing, and then turning the head. Let's also use the neck to get some movement going and some little movement in the spine as well. Right after this, I'm moving a shoulder, that's why. Okay, so let's also create a neck controller, just neck sets just for the sake of it. Yeah. So create sets, quick selection sets, and then that will probably help us work more efficiently in the future. And now we have our flying dragon. And here we go. In case you like to work with the the gate mask, you can change a lot of settings as well on this gate mask. If you click on this button, it will select your camera, go to attributes, and then go to display options. And here you can manage the opacity of the gate mask and also the color of the gate mask. So you can completely adjust it to your liking, and the overscan, you can adjust it by 1 or 1.3 or 2. So it all depends on how much it should overscan your camera view. 1.3 is the default setting, but you can put it on 1 if you don't really like the edges, but want to make sure you can see the entire camera. So next up, we will add breakdowns or extra blocking. It's called Blocking Plus. It's about adding detail in your animation. For example, when the feet is touching the ground, it should be heel first, and then the toe should touch the ground. We have some more movement in the entire body. We also have, for the landing example, we should touch the ground first with our back legs. So you want to see these legs touch the ground first, then touch the ground with the front legs, and then feel some kind of weight shifting for the dragon to keep himself up, to get a good straightening pose in between that. It's also about adding some more flaps and adding some more detail. We can also add a bit more overlap, or slightly getting into overlap in our pose, getting a bit nicer curves in our tail and our body. The more poses you will add, the more your dragon comes alive, and the more you can tweak your poses to get a good silhouette or appeal, some good curves. It's just about applying the principles of animation.